Can you see on my screen now?
Can sir.
Can, huh?
Can.
So how many people in the call now? Huh? Okay, I'll just start lah. Let's wait for this to start. So this is going to be a pretty 45 minutes session. Maybe somebody record this. Recording. Yeah, recording. Okay. So the purpose is basically there is a mess. Now okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay, now okay, yeah. Can see, right? Now can hear. Can hear now.
Can sir. Clear.
Okay. So like I was saying just now about the data protection, right? So the reality is everybody speaks about cybersecurity, everybody speaks about technology, infrastructure, various topics. But I think this is one of the important component when it comes to cybersecurity as well. Since our company is a cybersecurity company, so I thought of taking a little leadership on this to actually give some kind of awareness to the Malaysians about this recent guide that the JPDP have done. Okay, so if you see this document is actually available, you can just put that guidance panduan perlindungan data pribadi in the Google. You can actually get this document. Okay, it's a long document. It was presented, published this year only, February. So the whole idea is to have a specific role of a DPO in all the companies. Similarly, by having a CISO, uh, uh, its DPO is another role, but not necessarily you need to hire a person. So DPO is a role where you can do a multi role, right? You can play a different cap uh, for you to practice what is stated in the guiding principle of this Personal Data Protection Act in Malaysia. Now, what do you expect from this session, right? So we have about 45 minutes now. What are the roles? What are the repercussion or the impact to the company, to the people? How can you be ready per se? Yeah, very quick one. Not going to take much time explaining in detail because of lack of time, but I will try my best to cover as much as possible. Okay. So if you see here, it's pretty heavy, right? So under the section 12B on the Act 709, which is clearly stated in the document that if there is a breach, a data breach, right, it is a must that the organization have to report. Okay, we will report or at least address the breach. Else, there will be a penalty, 250,000 ringgit or 2 years imprisonment or both. So this is not something to play with because we are no more in the awareness stage in Malaysia. We have already gone into the next level where enforcement are coming in. For example, we have NACSA Act and we also have this JPDP Act 709. So we, as a practitioner in the organization, I presume all of you have some kind of role to play. So you need to make sure that when there is a breach happen, uh, that is through some monitoring, that is through reports, or that is through some kind of a notification you get through your cybersecurity systems. You know, there are many ways how you can find out whether your data has been breached or your data has been exposed or there's any compromise. We need to act on it. There's a time frame. Yeah, there's a time frame which I'm going to cover later. How fast you can actually act because like I said earlier, right, not every organization are ready to actually have a DPO officer in the company. They may have a leverage. So probably in some of the organizations I've seen, the IT manager usually play this role, data protection officer. Yeah. So what is personal data breach? So let me give you some uh, another scenario, right? So if in the UK you have this GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. So if you actually do some research on that, right, in the UK base for the GDPR, you see even big companies like Google, Facebook, they are paying heavy penalty due to some of the breach, which is publicly available in the public available domain. You can actually search them. So similarly, these are um, type of things that you can do in Malaysia. It is stated also that any data loss or misuse of data, you know, we've been hearing a lot of news in the market, right? Unauthorized access to informations, people are modifying informations. You know, it may not be totally be compromised by the threat actor, but it could be also internal. Yeah, people add or remove or hide data just for the sake of certain processes that they may have in some industries. Yeah, so we have to make sure that when we detect this type of abnormalities, then obviously this is part of the data breach. Yeah, personal data breach. Or sometimes it can be also accidental or intentional. So intentional is like espionage lah. So espionage is like people intentionally they're trying to change the data sets. Accidentally, yeah, it can happen as well, right? Because not everybody has a development stage server. Many people, they can't afford that. But today, in this data world, in the data business now, we need to have development server. But in that case, accidental manipulation of data may happen, yeah, but subject for investigation. So why the notification is mandatory? So if a breach cause, so it's gonna most likely going to cause harm, right? So what kind of harm? Reputational harm. Because I think sometimes when we have this type of regulation, I think it's good for overall economy perspective, and also accountability will take place. Because if you don't have controls, then people take lightly, stakeholders take lightly. When we have controls, when we have penalties, when we have some regulations, then the stakeholders take this very seriously, where accountability comes in, where the responsibility will be given to certain individuals in the company for them to take actions. So altogether, it's all about reputation management and also company business continuity management. Yeah. So what are the conditions? So if there's more than 1,000 data are affected, so this is how they categorize it. So what is 1,000 data? The number of lines, or how you categorize a one data set, right? So in some companies, your name, your IC, your phone number, your bank address, it could be one string of data. In some cases, you have like maybe just a name. So whenever there's 1,000 set, then it's considered as a mandatory notification need to be done, or reporting need to be done. I'm not saying below 1,000 you cannot report, but the mandatory requirement is above 1,000. Yeah. Like I said earlier, you do have some grace period, because you don't need to report that immediately, because sometimes you need to investigate, you need to do some internal processes. So you have about 72 hours to notify JPDP, Jabatan Perlindungan Data Peribadi, from Discovery. So yeah, there is a certain form that you can fill up, which is available in the JPDP website as well. You can download them. It's about 4 page. I've also took the liberty to take a screenshot and show you guys how you can actually report them. And then once you report, you're safe. Yeah. And then you have 7 days to notify affected individuals. So this is a bit tricky, right? Because assuming you have a data leak of say 5 million people, or especially when it comes to certain organization with a large number of data, right? Now you have 7 days to respond to the individual, to either change their password, or either you tell them that their data has been compromised, where their personal details are publicly available in the dark web or in the surface web. Of course, I personally have not received any of them, although I have seen some of the credentials has been breached in the past. But I think with this kind of act, I think more accountability can take place. Especially when it comes to email compromise. So because email compromise basically comes from a set of data has been leaked before, right? A name associated to a email. Sometimes you see now scammers are calling you, and somehow they know your name and where you're living, or even your phone number, right? So this is part of the thing, right? I don't know if scammers have access to some kind of personal data of the government or what, but I know for the fact that they leverage on this type of breach and leaks which are happening across industry, right? It can be very, very various industries where they can have or will have access to this kind of information. So now with this type of act, I think what will happen next is the reduction. We can see the reduction in the breach, because when the accountability take place, stakeholders will take effort to do something about it, right? To how to protect them. Either it could be from a process perspective, or they can implement some kind of technology implementation, or even as a matter of fact, doing training exercise to the people who are managing the data, this personal data. So what is the key responsibility of DPO? So there will be a spike in the DPO role in organization. So I foresee that many organizations will have a DPO personnel to meet the compliance, to make sure that this DPO officer will be responsible to ensure that the training exercise or implementation of technology exercise are taken into the company, and act as a license with JPDP. So in case if JPDP wants more information for investigation purposes or to get some additional information, then this DPO will be the person in charge as a single point of contact for JPDP for them to communicate back and forth, and giving the respective information to the government. And of course, to lead the breach response. So, and also the audit, right? Like, for an example, when there is a breach, then this DPO officer will be probably playing a key role here to work with the CISO or the cybersecurity response team, to see how they can mitigate the communication, the protection, because they need to have some kind of a knowledge how they can actually protect this. And in some instance, when you have ISO implementation in the organization, for an example, ISO 27000, which talks about information security management system, then the internal auditors can also use DPO officers to get some information on the processes and compliance perspective when it comes to the audit. So how do we notify to JPDP? So this here's the first page I screenshot. There's a lot of other pages as well. So probably after this session, my team will share the link where you can get this data, this particular form. In fact, it's quite easy. You can just go to Google and search JPDP breach report. First link, you'll get it there. And you can submit within 30 days this report officially to see what actually happened. And you can even email them, not necessarily the form. There's another email available as well, dbnpdp@pdp.gov.my. So this is the form that the DP officer will be using. And obviously, the notifying the people, right? So make sure that don't use technical jargons when you do the communication, because you must understand, even though that the DPO are technically sound and the IT people and the cybersecurity professionals are technically sound, sometimes we need to realize that the victim, or I would say the person who are impacted, where the data has been compromised or the personal data has been compromised in the internet, they're not technical, right? So when you start sending them, hey, your that information is breaching, blah blah blah, some website in the dark web or whatever, so like they may not understand the narrative. So I think it's important that when we create the communication channel, whether it's an email or SMS or post in the Facebook or in your social media, right? Try to be as simple as possible, okay? Especially when SMS. For example, you can say, hey, we detected that your personal data has been breached or compromised. It's available in the certain website. We are taking effort to mitigate them, to shut down or take down or report. And we have done the reporting to JPDP as a to be compliant to the regulations that have been set. So you have to have this type of simple, plain English so that the victim understands. Yeah, you don't want the victim to come and report to you and say, hey, how come I report my information leaked out and you guys never tell me? Obviously, not many is going to do that, but of course, eventually, the internet penetration in Malaysia is about 97%. So everybody somehow or other they knows what's happening in the internet. So you don't want the whole Malaysia coming and complaining to you, and it affects your reputation in the business. Okay. So there's another important element as well here when it comes to the data processes. Because of the ecosystem of the business, the economy is such where now organizations or businesses rely on third party to process personal data. For an example, the banks may assign third party organizations to act on behalf of them. I'm sure you have probably received calls from saying that I'm from this bank, blah blah blah, but you know for the fact that they are probably a registered third party vendor for the banks or the GLCs. Maybe you never pay the water bill, or you pay the electricity bill, or you never pay a credit card or whatever. So it could be many use cases, right? When this third party processes your information, they are also responsible, okay, because they have high accountability on the data that they have about you, because they have access now probably to your your name, your IC, your phone number, to an extent maybe to even check whether you have made the payment to the system. So uh, in the event there's any breach happen to this third party as well, then the third party is also accountable to report to the stakeholder. So the DPO need to coordinate on the full compliance. Yeah, there's a lot of work behind it when it comes to this type of coordination activity. Uh, I can't go through in detail for this for today, but of course, our company actually run programs to do this type of sessions, right? To equip the DPOs on processes, give them the tools, to give them the documentations, what they need to do. Yeah, so we do have like 1 day training happening next month. So that's they'll be covered there. But today, my purpose is to give you the knowledge. What is this all about, so that that you have some understanding, right? Don't just take this lightly, just a word DPO, but what is behind the DPO. Okay. Governance and responsibilities, of course, within a written breach response plan, same as cybersecurity response plan. Sometimes when you have a breach in the organization, you actually have to like response plan, because the first responder team, where they will respond on the breach happened in the IT infrastructure. Similarly, here we need to actually have a proper documentation in place on is actions that the organization is doing, working together with the DPO, so that uh, the actions have taken place. Yeah, and which integrates back to the entire security posture, security, business management, and the cybersecurity. Yeah, and obviously the DPO will also act as a trainer to train regularly on the latest development or what they are doing, what they need to do as don'ts to the employees, because the employees may not be technical, right? So the DPO will act as the licensed person to be giving out knowledge to them. So what you teach them, again, there are a lot of stuff behind this, which we'll cover during the training. But those of you, if you already know this, then you can actually apply them, take the regulation document, and you can just teach them. Right? So these are some checklists I did for you all. It's just a quick one. Um, so if I were to ask all of you, right, maybe what do you think? Stolen encrypted laptop, is it a personal data breach? Do you report this? What do you all think? The first one, stolen encrypted laptop. Do you think this is something that you need to report? Anybody? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, huh? Okay.
Yes.
Good. What about encrypted email address leak? Do you think you need to report this?
Yes, sir.
Why yes? It's not the email, huh? Remember, it's email addresses. Email addresses, no, because email addresses does not reflect the person who's behind or who's the owner of this email. Because email addresses can mean many things, right? There could be like a database of email created, and how do you justify this email belongs to who? So you can't do that. So it's no. What about medical record inaccessible? Do you report this?
Thinking yes, sir.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you so much for those who responded. So yeah, so these are the times, right? What do we report and what do we don't report? So we need to be very cautious on this. And so I just took a snapshot of my long US checklist. I just took the top 5 in my checklist, just to give you some idea what kind of things that you can do actually, um, as a stakeholder or as a potential DPO or the existing DPO. You actually can have this type of checklist to give you a guiding principle what you can where you can start with. Yep. Last but not least, if fast today, my recap of the day. Yeah, it's a very quick one actually. All I want to tell you is this is not something to play with. We need to have responsibility on responding when there comes to breach and data privacy. Yeah, especially the personal data, because DPDP has an act on this, and this act, when they say they will summon a penalty, they will summon the penalty. So the enforcement will come in. In fact, our minister also have said something 2 days back on a conference that there will be an enforcement happening soon, which will work through Cybersecurity Malaysia potentially, which may take place. Then we have NAXA, we have an act there as well to report if there's any breach. So we have, I mean, it's good that to see that this type of things are happening to give more accountability and responsibility to the businesses and to the GLCs, to the government, so that when they are pressurized with this type of things, then accountability takes place. Investment comes in for them to invest in the people, to train them, to invest the capabilities, invest in process, invest in tools, technologies. I mean, the list can go on and on. Yeah. And of course, this will help generally the digital economy when it comes to the digital risk and the any organization can take risk. So with that, thank you so much for listening. Any question, guys? You want to ask me before we wrap up this session? Any question? No question? No? Yes?
Yeah.
God.
Hi, Prakash.
Yes, Raj.
Okay, I have a quick question
Yes.
regarding a scam call. Scam call, like victim who will become a victim in a scam.
Mm.
What the solution will be taken for the victim in our country? Is that we have to follow that criteria by the Cybersecurity Malaysia, or we have the normal procedure where we have to launch a report with the police station? So how the easy way those who are impacted in the scam, any scam?
Yep.
So, that's the thing.
Okay. So so this is not something to DPO, but of course I'm happy to answer this question. So in Malaysia, if you see, the scam is crazy, right? It's horrendous. It's very really high. And if you're gonna ask 10 people, probably 9 of them probably got scam or get some scam calls. Now in Malaysia, it's pretty clear that if you got if okay, there are two things, right? You got scammed. You you paid the money and then you know you got scammed. And then obviously what people will do usually is they'll go to the police station, not the Cybersecurity Malaysia, because you can never go there and do the report. The law is you need to go to police station to make a report. Now, what potentially can happen? So there's also a scam response center number which you can actually call them and you can report to them as well. Now, before you call them, you need to go to the police station first. Now, in some cases which I've seen, the victim, if they have enough evidence that to say that they have been scammed, if they have the account number and blah blah blah, I have seen cases where the police was quite fast to freeze the account numbers. I've seen that. I've spoken to some of the victims. They actually told me that they actually freeze the scammer, or we call it the donkey account, or the Keldai account, because the scammer will never use their own account number. They always use proxy, right? Like they call the donkey account, they call it. Then yes, of course. Now you're talking about recovery of the money, maybe. Now recovery money may not happen immediately. It may happen, it may not happen. Now, should the scam happen within 24 hours, then you have chances to get the money back, because the bank can freeze and if they find there's enough evidence to say that that's your money, the money you probably get back. In some cases, the scammer will misuse your credit card and they scam your card without your knowledge. Then in that case, the bank have several processes where they find that there is no foul play involved and it's very straightforward. I've seen cases where the bank actually refund or return back the money. But in many cases, many scammers, they don't come forward and they report. I don't know, maybe they don't know, or they think they might get the money on their own. But in this case, to answer your question, yes, the process is police station. Cybersecurity Malaysia, you cannot go there, because yes, they are the technical agency. NACSA is the policy maker in Malaysia. DPO is the Personal Data Protection Agency. But the process for scamming is you need to go to police station to make a report that you officially got scammed, because this involves people, another people, right? So that people maybe borrow money and they don't give you, it's also a scammer. Or that's my answer to you, Raj.
Thank you, Pastor Kut.
I saw a chat just now. Somebody asked a question. Logan Adan. I said, how long do you need to enforce the implementation of a DPO in every company to take? The company will take to achieve stability, because this enforcement is forced not by awareness or self-realization. Okay, there are two questions here. How long? It depends on the company. How big are they? Okay, in some companies, they may have one office, they may have 10 office. Of course, one office is much more easier, right? So the implementation are very simple actually, because if you already have certain kind of cybersecurity processes where you have some level of process tools, technologies to protect your cybersecurity infrastructure, then this is just another type where it's protecting your data. So first, you need to identify what is the data you're trying to protect here. Okay, are you putting your data in a cloud? Are you putting the data in some public server, or putting in some computer where it's freely accessible? So you need to start doing some assessment first. Like I said earlier, I given the checklist just now. I hope you took the screenshot. Then maybe you can. There's a Google Doc there. You can do a survey and give information. We can send out the file as well. So you need to identify that, and then it's how much time you want to the effort you take for you to implement the protection controls, so that that data is not been compromised and you're not bound to the law. And so that is the time perspective. The second one you ask, the stability perspective. The stability is all about, so long you are not being compromised, you're stable. If you're being compromised, then you're not stable. Of course, there's no silver bullet for this type of question, right? Even if you've seen big organizations, big giants, they have been compromised in the past. Are you saying that they don't never invest in the people process technology. No, sometimes you just don't know what is happening, right? You don't know what you don't know. So the stability here is if you have controls, if you have processes, and if you know the resiliency, how resilient you are. It's not about you have controls, but then if something happens, you don't know what to do. That is not control stability. No, stability is all about if something happens, right? How how fast you can actually respond to it, how fast you can actually see the impact and then take action. That's called stability here. It's no more about putting controls in place. Resiliency is what is control and stability is all about. And because of this, enforcement is forced, not by awareness. Yeah, of course. This is a law, right? The law has been there always. So now the agency is taking actions for them to enforce this law. Okay, this is not a new law. The law has been there for some time already. But now they're enforcing them. Same like Naksa law. They're enforcing it now. Um, so that is the answer. I hope, Loganathan, I answered your question. Yeah. Guys, those who are in the call, please click on the link in the chat box. We would love to hear from you, your information, so that I can send you some checklist which I've prepared so that you can use that as your first guiding principle. And we may, we have some prizes to be given as well for those who participate for this session. So you can actually give us the information. No, thanks for your explanations. All right. How long, sir, do you think the enforcement of the information will be good in every company? Okay, that's all. What are the main data protection policies currently enforced in out of the what are the main data protection policies study? Yeah. It depends on the company, KD. What is your current policy in place? If you don't have a policy in place, you need to create a policy. So if you have a policy, then you need to apply it. It's same like ISO, right? It's not that you just say you have ISO 27000, but you don't enforce the rules of ISO principles, right? So if you're going to have a policy that, hey, if any data input of a new customer into this database, then you need to have encrypted way, and who have the access. Then the access management policy comes in. And then if you have a cloud environment, then you need to have a policy. How do you protect the cloud? So these are the policies that you have in place, right? You have monitoring in place, you have notification policy in place, communication policy in place. So there are many policies out there that you can actually enforce to ensure that your personal data is not being compromised. So that's a policy. It's a very wide topic actually. But of course, if you want to know more, I would strongly encourage KD you come for the session that you're going to have in next month. Then it'll be good for you to have some in-depth understanding. Hope KD I answered your question. Anybody else? Any other questions?
Hello, Doctor. Good
Yeah.
day. I have a question. Do we need to have any specific certification to be an DPO officer? Let's say we would like to train a company. Do we need to have any certain certification to be a DPO officer? Thank you.
As of now, I don't see that yet. So like in our company, we are a cybersecurity firm, so we have all the credentials registered with respective agencies. So long you have this is a role based, right? This is not a certified DPO. There's no such thing as that. You actually can train them so long you have the knowledge what you want to teach them. And of course, the credibility of the company comes heavily in place. So who's teaching and who's imparting the knowledge? So yeah, I have not seen that coming. So if you see our company, when we offer these programs to our customer, we are using our company credentials actually for who we are in the market, and then and the trust is there. So that's how it works. Probably in the future they may have, but I don't see yet. Not yet. Okay, good. If there's no question, then I'll look to wrap it up. Any other question? My team is asking me to wait now. They don't want to release me. Oh my god, there's another question, long one. Izzat. Is this the Izzat from Penang? I think I know you. Hi sir, do you think having a DPO alone is enough to really protect business these days? Especially with things like insider threat, AI attack, or even third-party vendor mishandling data? Very good question. Or, in your opinion, does DPO need to work closely with other team system actually? We love to hear your thoughts. What else do you think important besides just a point DPO? Of course, very, very good question. I hope you never use ChatGPT to ask this question. But let me tell you, no. The answer is no for your first question. Having a DPO alone is not enough because you need to work closely with many other stakeholders who managing your data. Cybersecurity professionals, your data compliance guys, your policy, your auditors, all these people plays a role there. So that's your answer there. A DPO alone is not enough. Okay, just one, function in the company where they need to protect the data, right? And then the AI attack or even third-party vendor mishandling data, yes, these are very critical because, like I said earlier, right, the third party, if they mishandle data, the impact is on you back. So I totally will support that we need to make sure that the control of the third party is need to be at the highest level because we don't have control of them. You have control in your own company, but when it comes third party, you don't have control over them, right? Or in your opinion, does the DPO need to work closely with other team systems? Yeah, of course. The DPO will be a SPOC when it comes to personal data protection. So what is SPOC means here is single point of contact. So you need to be working together with many teams because in the event or you don't want any event to happen, then the controls, the policies need to be coming from you. The training will need to come from you. Yeah. Then what else do you think important besides just appointing a DPO? I mean, the DPO topic here come because of the ACTA. Okay, so the ACTA you need to comply to it. But if you ask me what other things is important, of course, the whole ecosystem of data resiliency is important, right? So there are many roles, many functions, many response, many processes that you need to have in place to overall protect your data risk of the company. And this data can be your personal data, your IP, your patent, your personal data, your technology data, your infrastructure. So it's an ecosystem, it's not just one thing. This is very silo based. DPO is just a very silo into one important element in the company. But if you want to talk about the whole thing, the whole architecture, the whole infrastructure is very different. So I hope I answered your question, Izzat.
Hi, sir.
Yeah.
I have one question. So I find this very interesting. So is there any training that you could
Yeah.
provide?
So there is a training happening somewhere next month. Those of you attended this program, you probably have seen in the Facebook or LinkedIn. So after this session, we will be posting our next class happening in next month, which I'll be the facilitator, where I'll be sharing more details, what are the response plan, the details, the checklist, what you can have in compliance to the act as a DPO officer. So with that training, then you'll be ready to embark on the DPO journey in your own company. So this is the training that we have. So you can actually participate in that training. Just click on the link there, at least you get some info, and then you can participate.
All right, sir.
Thanks. I hope you join the class, Arvind.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yep.
I have one question.
Yep.
How can I approach this to my company, to our company?
How do you approach? Of course, you need to first give the awareness to your stakeholders that tell your boss, management that we need to have this role in the company. So we need to have in place this role to comply to the act. Once the awareness happens, right, and then the next process takes place because many stakeholders doesn't know that this thing exists. So you need to initiate this process with your management, KD.
One question again. Who can join?
Anybody who express interest for this to become a DPO in your own company, or they already have a plan to play this particular role in the company, they can join. They don't necessarily need to have a highly technical skill, but somebody who have a reasonable knowledge on how security works, how data protection works. I think that's enough, because this is not about a technical guy doing some programming, but it's more towards governance and controls. Cool. So the call is going to end soon. I think we only have like 5 minutes now. So we got no question, then I would love to wrap up this session. And thank you so much, guys, for listening. And hope to see you again. Okay, can we take a photo of everybody? Open your camera. They can take a screenshot of the photo. Come on your cameras. Okay. Okay, somebody take a screenshot of the pictures, please. Okay, thank you. All right, nice. Thank you, thank you. Okay, cool. Okay,